Hey everyone, this is Miss Kegel, and this video is a little bit off the beaten track of what I normally do for the first 4.5 units. I normally do one lecture video. You guys watch it, you guys do the work, you turn it in, and we move on. However, Unit 5 is a different beast compared to the other units that you do. First of all, this unit is 3 weeks long. So it's going to start today and it will not end until the end of the month. The reason behind that is the ask that I am presenting you takes some time to do, and to do it properly takes more than a week. So I want to give you guys that opportunity to do this correctly. The reason we're doing this unit overview, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, of Unit 5 before you get into the actual assignment is I wanted you to start early. I know some of you probably don't start until the Thursday you watch the lecture video, and that's fine, but this is not an assignment where we need to do that. Also, I wanted to just go over the Moodle site with you in its own video, go over the requirements with you in its own video, and kind of show you the student sample of what your final product is going to look like so you can see kind of what you're getting into. So let's go ahead and kind of get started on this. So, if you move down into this, you are going to see, obviously, these dates are wrong, so ignore them. The dates are right for this semester, but I'm going to be using this video moving on, so ignore the dates. But if you notice, this breakdown at the top is a lot longer than normal. So, please make sure that you are taking that into consideration when you're planning out your time. So as you're moving down, you see the guidelines at the top. We're going to go over those shortly. And then you're going to move into part one of this lecture, or part one of this set of assignments. And that is looking at ethics specifically. You're going to look at, talking about different types of websites to use and what are good websites and what does it mean to be ethical when we write before we even start writing itself. However, once you get done with that quick white, you are going to go ahead. Your Sunday assignment, your first Sunday assignment, is going to focus on a tool planning, pre-planning assignment. I do want to go ahead and go over that with you. So the gist of this assignment is that you are going to be researching a tool that you think is important to use in the career of study that you are interested in. It can be something for an automotive industry. It can be something for the cooking fields, cleaning. It can be a vacuum cleaner. It can be a stand mixer. It can be a mop. It can be anything, any tool that you want your company to spend money on, because you may be asked in your field to look for a new piece of equipment for your department. And it is your job to research that equipment before you just say, do this one. I teach at the high school. I'm the department chair. And one of my duties is to look at textbooks before my department purchases them, because a textbook is a 10-year commitment. So if I am going to purchase a textbook for my classes, I need to make sure that it's a textbook that will be pertinent in 10 years. The same may go for you. If you're going to buy a $45,000 car towing system, so or like a jack automotive or hydraulic jack system that you're going to use at your company, you need to make sure that that's going to be something pertinent to last. So you've got to look at the feasibility. You have to look at whether or not it's going to be worth the money. What are the reviews? Look at the manual. How does it work? And so that's the kind of things that you're going to be doing. So before we even get started doing the research, you've got to think about the tool you want to pick. So, these are some good questions to kind of get your mind in the right direction. Number one, what job environment do you want to purchase the tool for? Is it a kitchen? Is it a mechanic shop? Is it a classroom? Number two, what is the tool and why is it important? And number three, what website should you use to help you write the report? So let's go ahead and go back to the, let's go ahead and go, oops, I got on a weird website. Hold on, I clicked the button. There we go. Let's go ahead and go back to the tools requirement first. And then we'll go from there. Let's let that get loaded. Hold on just a second. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the requirements. So if we pull this up, and this is something I do recommend you peruse on your own. So your report needs to have the following things. It's going to have a cover letter or a cover memo where you are going to introduce to your company the tool that you are going to be using. The next page is going to be a cover page or a title page. You'll need to have a table of contents. You need to have an executive summary or an abstract. And I'm going to go through, I know this sounds strange, but you will have a lecture video where I go through these components with you a little bit more specifically. Then you're going to have a list of figures and tables. So along with the table of contents, you also have to have a list of figures because you're going to be including graphics into your PowerPoint, or excuse me, your paper. You need an introduction, and then the body itself. The body has to have the following things. You need to make sure that you are evaluating the tool specifically. You are looking at the feasibility. You are looking at reviews. How much does it cost? Is it worth it in the long run? What are people saying about it? How does it work? That kind of stuff. The report needs to be a well-organized critique analyzing the parts of the tool. This research component should add additional supporting data with reference to attachments, include graphics to make your report visually appealing. There needs to be a feasibility section where you include the cost. Then you have to have a conclusion and recommendation that based on what you've read, you recommend and why. An appendix if needed, but you probably aren't. A works cited. This is important. We'll talk about that next week. Or excuse me, this week? No, next week. Sorry. And then graphics and illustrations. You need three. It should be in Times New Roman 12-point font with page numbers on the top right-hand side. Single space with a space between paragraphs and sections. So let's kind of go through. So your cover page is going to state the title, your name, the instructor's name, the course title, and the section number. The next page, you're going to have a table of contents that are going to include the different sections. You must have the following sections in your paper: the executive summary, the introduction, specific headings for what you cover, and then conclusions and recommendations and works cited. Your executive summary or abstract is a summary of your findings. It's usually just a paragraph that kind of overviews what's going on with that. And then you have your introduction, which is going to introduce the text itself. And that leads into the body, where your body of your paper is going to be the different headings and the different sections related to the tool itself. We talked about the conclusion. You're going to learn about works cited pages next week. Documentations in MLA. You need to make sure that you are putting things in your own words. If it is something that you need to cite directly and to say specifically, you've got to put it in quotation marks. And then anything that you have in your paper that is not your own words or thoughts is something you put in in-text citation, which you'll learn about next week. So this is kind of, you can read the rest of this on your own. Okay, so week 2, we're going to focus on citations and plagiarism. So you will watch that video, and I'll talk specifically about how to create that works cited page. And then week 3, I will be going over the components and designs, specifically on how to do the actual setup of the paper. It's odd. A lot of people in the past have mentioned that they think it's odd to do the works cited page first, but going ahead and completing the works cited page, I do think is important, because that means that you are looking into your research before you're just starting to type. You will be doing an outline, and I will be going over the components of that outline in the lecture video for the 3rd week. And then you'll be turning in this final assignment here. Now, I do want to go ahead and show you the student sample just so you can get a sense of what that's supposed to look like. So if we pull the student sample up, you'll see that on the first page, we have a memo, and it's very short. We have his address. We have the person he's sending it to's address. He is going to be looking at the Milwaukee Super Sawzall, and it's just explaining very briefly what is in here. And his conclusion is below. I have attached the report. Now, if you notice, this report is 9 pages long. That includes the memo, and it's supposed to be. So his title page is here. He's got the title. That's the tool. He has the tool itself, and he has that figure. And I'm going to explain to you guys how to do all of this later. And then he has his name here, my name, the class, and the date that he turned it in. Next is his table of contents. It's interesting because this will actually all be created using the tools in Microsoft Word, and I'll show you guys how to do that later. And then this is his table of figures here. This is his abstract. It's very short. There's his introduction. And then he gets into the body. He's going to talk about safety because that's important with a tool. He's going to talk about the positive attributes and features. Areas of improvement. How is it not perfect? I think it's important to note that a tool is not perfect and how it can be improved. And then it's rating based on Pro Tool reviews. And then the feasibility, how much it costs. And then his conclusion. And then his works cited page. You are required to have 3 sources. Now, let me make something very, very, very clear. You are not a source. So even if you decide to use a tool that you have used in the past because you're familiar with it, that does not mean you are the expert on that tool. You need to find research to support it. So that is the breakdown of Unit 5. I hope that this helped you guys kind of get a sense of what it is going to be about. The secret word for the Unit 5 breakdown is, this is going to be a phrase. It is get started early. The secret phrase, if you will, for Unit 5 is get started early. If you do not get started early, you will not finish this on time because life gets in the way. And this is a big component of your grade because this unit does have a ton of the assignments in it for the unit of the course as a whole. If you have any questions, please make sure to get with me via email or in the virtual Google Meets that we can do during my virtual office hours. This is not your only secret word for this week. Do make sure that by Thursday you watch the unit the video on ethics and writing, and you go ahead and get that one done as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.